dread falling asleep every night, because every morning I don't wake up. Every single night, no matter how bad the day was, I lay in bed and fight to stay awake. I lay there staring at the ceiling until my eyes are bloodshot and stinging, my jaw aching from the constant yawning. It isn't insomnia or any similar medical condition that you might find in your medical journals or DSM-5-TR. It isn't anything physical either. I don't suffer from chronic pain or melatonin deficiency or anything like that. And no, it's not nightmares either. God, I would welcome a good nightmare at this point. At least those fade away when you wake up and continue your day to day. No, it's none of that. I struggle so hard in this Sisyphean task because I know that when I finally lose the fight and let my eyes drift close, I won't be the one who opens them in the morning. The first time it happened, I tried to wake myself up. I simply knew it was just a strange dream. I told myself that I'd wake up any minute, back in my bed with a funny dream to tell my co-workers, whoever they were back then. Fuck, I don't even remember who my co-workers were back then. You see, I had fallen asleep in my own bed, but when I woke up, it was a different room entirely. A different country, actually. Fucking England! If you can imagine. The first thing I noticed was the wallpaper and drapes. The walls with its awful pale green with intricate eggshell-hued patterns across them, and the curtains this grotesque pink-purple suede. My first guess, as I rubbed focus into my eyes, was that I had hooked up with some wine aunt turned cougar at the bar the night before, and she had brought me back to her decrepit mother's home for a few rounds of hide the sausage. The irony of that thought was not long wasted on me, as you will soon understand. You see, as I turned over, I saw a 60-something man sitting next to me. At that moment, I had my second thought of the morning. Wait, how much did I drink last night? So instead of waking up the snoring gentleman, I decided to extricate myself carefully from the situation and never think about the implications of the previous night again. My body felt uneven as I went to get out of bed. I reached out to steady myself on the nightstand and was surprised by the wrinkled hand with an overly complicated polish job on the nails that stabilized my shifting weight. I looked at the hand in confusion, my mind unable to comprehend what it meant. That's when I noticed the family picture on the dresser. The snoring man beside me, 3 kids of various ages, and a woman that beamed in the way only suburban mums do on family picture day. And the woman's hand, resting on the youngest child's shoulder, had a very ornate set of nails. I searched the house in a daze and found the bathroom mirror, and staring back at me was that woman's face, if only 5 or so years older. I screamed. Of course, who wouldn't? But the sound that came out wasn't mine. It was higher, thinner, like someone else's lungs were squeezing the air. I grabbed my face, my arms, but all I felt was unfamiliar skin, unfamiliar weight. The man in the bed, her husband, I realized, jolted awake. He grabbed my shoulders, his face pale with panic. "What's wrong? What's happening to you?" His voice cracked like he was begging me not to answer. I couldn't. I just shook my head and sobbed, clawing at my cheeks like maybe I could tear my way back to myself. By the end of the day, I was in a hospital gown. Lights too bright overhead, doctors muttering about a psychotic break. I tried telling them the truth, that I wasn't who they thought I was, but of course, that only made it worse. They strapped me down for transfer. I fought so hard against the restraints that the EMT slid a needle into my arm. My last sight was the ambulance ceiling flickering with passing street lights, and then the sedative hit. My eyes opened again. I was in another bed, another body, another life. That happened 2 more times. The screaming, the panic, the desperate explanations that only made things worse. A psychiatric hold once, heavy sedation another, always the same end. I'd closed my eyes under the effect of their medications and immediately woke up in another stranger's skin. By the 3rd time, I realized what I had to do. If I didn't want to spend every morning restrained and screaming, I had to stop drawing attention to myself. That became my new pattern. Each morning, I woke up in a new body, scrambling for clues of who I was, checking wallets, phones, emails, reading texts to guess at relationships, studying family photos like a cheat sheet. Sometimes I slipped up, call a kid by the wrong name, stared too long at a questioning co-worker's face I didn't recognize, forgot the layout of a familiar street, and took an extra hour to arrive home. But I discovered something else too. Whatever body I landed in, I could still speak, read, and understand their languages. I could ride a bike I had never touched before, or play a few bars of piano with hands that weren't mine. Muscle memory carried me where knowledge could not. Sometimes people notice. Sometimes I make it through the day without raising suspicion. Once, I even tracked down the person I had been the day before. I just had to know if what I did mattered, if they remembered me. But they didn't. They were fine, happy even. They just seemed to have had a day off. A little scatterbrained maybe, but otherwise completely themselves. Once, in a fit of desperation, I tried to end it. I thought maybe I could break the cycle, maybe kill me for real. I waited until I was someone in the body with as little family and as few connections as possible. I found a knife in the kitchen, pressed it hard against my borrowed wrist, and dragged it up past the bend of their elbow. But it wasn't me who died. The next morning, I opened my eyes in yet another body, but I carried the memory of the last one bleeding out on the drug-splattered linoleum. And worse, I carried the knowledge that when she was herself again, she never came back. She was just gone. I had actually killed her. When I searched the news, I couldn't find much. How often do they report on drug addicts killing themselves when they couldn't get a fix? It wasn't until many lives later that I confirmed she was truly gone. The guilt nearly crushed me. I swore never to try again. I'm so sorry, Jenny. So now, I drift through lives like a parasite that's trying to act beneficial, unsure if I'm doing more damage than good. An 8-year-old boy with bruises on his arms, sitting in the counsellor's office with a juice box, finally whispering the truth about home. A nurse, trembling under hospital lights, fumbling for names, relieved when her hands remembered how to set an IV even though her mind was blank. A prisoner, staring at tally marks he didn't carve, heart pounding, too hard to ask the man in the bunk above what crime he was supposed to have paid for. A soldier haunted by wars I never fought, his body still jerking to attention at any louder than a whisper sound. A woman at a bus stop clutching a folder of job applications, practicing a smile she couldn't make real. An old man shuffling from the recliner to his bathroom, terrified of the day he might forget which door led where. Each morning, I dig through pockets and inboxes and photo albums until I can fake my way through another day, praying not to do any lasting damage. And every night, I end the same way I began this one. Lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, fighting a war I can never win. My eyes burn, my jaw aches from yawning, but I keep holding on, desperate to stretch the hours just a little longer, terrified that I might make another Jenny one day. Because when I finally lose the fight, when sleep takes me, I know the truth. I won't be the one who wakes up.